Shameless. United. In the Europa League, Europa League.
What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to a little quick catch up with the bro Dharmesh, man. How you doing?
Good, mate. Good. Very well, yeah.
And the heat?
Yeah.
They let you out?
Just about. Yeah.
Oh, good. We are here at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan here in Sevilla before Manchester United's game against Sevilla later on tonight. Look, I don't want to do the boring stuff. Obviously, you're always on Sky. You get to talk about the takeover time and all that. I want to talk about the team now. Yeah. I want to talk about players in the team now, and I wanted to start at Martial because everyone's talking about Kane, everyone's talking about Osimhen, new players coming in, and rightly so. We need a striker, but actually, is there a role for Martial that actually he's still got a future here? Because when he's been injured for so long, it's been sell him, he's a sick note, he's made a glass note, and before that it was, is he the guy to get you 20 goals? But under Erik ten Hag, when he plays, we look good. So basically, is this a chance for redemption for Martial in some sort of way?
I don't know whether redemption's the right word. What I would say, a couple of things. We're talking about Osimhen and Kane. They've been talked about till we're blue. I think some of that might depend on what happens with that takeover. I know we're not going to go there just now, but I think the hierarchy at United, the manager, the recruitment team will want to know one way or another what's happening with that. And it just seems to be getting delayed the whole time. There's another deadline at the end of this month. Yeah. So how can they fully plan and know how much money that they're going to have in the summer if that part of it's not sorted? So the number 9 is a priority. We know that.
Yeah.
We know a central midfielder is a priority, and they did both of those deals in January to illustrate that. Not the players that you'd expect to have come, Marcel Sabitzer and Wout Weghorst on loan, but it's a precursor for the summer just to think, keep our private eye now, let's bring in players that we can fill the squad up with, who we think are quality, then come the summer, we'll go for what we perceive to be our number 1 target. So Kane and Osimhen are the names that are being mentioned. They're going to cost big money. But if you go back to the summer, no one was talking about Marcus Rashford because of the season that he'd had. Pre-season, everyone was saying, this is Martial's season. Look how well he's playing. And no coincidence that he'd come back from that loan spell in Sevilla that didn't go very successfully. Awful, and the fact of the matter is, the reason he went on loan was because there were successive managers who didn't bring the best out of him and he didn't really get on with. It just seems Erik ten Hag, one of the big things he's done is, for the first time in a long time, I speak to a lot of United fans and they say to me, he's the first manager since Ferguson who's consistently and regularly made players better. And if you look at what you're just talking about with Martial there, pre-season, like I mentioned, that's all the United fans were talking about. This is going to be Martial's season. Unfortunately, he got that injury and he's continued to get those injuries, but when he's played, he's been fantastic. Redemption, I don't know whether it is a case of redemption. Erik ten Hag's always talking him up.
He really likes him, doesn't he? Yeah.
And there's always talk of, is he going to go in the summer? It could potentially still happen. I don't know. If United were to bring in another striker, would Martial think, well, I'm going to be behind in the pecking order? But that's when Erik ten Hag's managerial expertise comes in, because he'll say, well, no, hold on, I'm bringing another striker in because we need to have a big squad of quality players, because ideally they'll be in the Champions League, fighting on all other fronts as well. And he's shown he wants to win in every single competition he's in. I mean, we just did something on Sky just before when we're talking about how he approaches games, and we're thinking, is he going to maybe drop Shaw, maybe rest Rashford ahead of Sunday? Are they both ready to come in? Throughout the season, he's just basically said, I'm going to pick the best team that's going to win this game, whatever game it is. And if we get suspensions and injuries, that's for the next day. We'll deal with that for the next game. So maybe he'll continue doing that. And if Martial plays well, he'll continue to get picked. So the relationship that they seem to have seems to be better than the relationship Martial seems to have had with his former managers at United. So that, for one point, will stand him in good stead, potentially to still have a big future at United. And I just think if he can stay fit, Ten Hag seems to be bringing the best out of him. So redemption, probably not, but competition for places, yes. Imagine Manchester United have a squad where they bring in, for argument's sake, an Osimhen or a Harry Kane, and they've got Anthony Martial as well, fighting for that number 9 jersey. And if everyone's fit and they're all playing well, that can only be good for United.
Yeah. So do you think it's a little bit unfair then, the fact that, people seem to highlight that the biggest issue around Martial has been availability and injury and not anything else?
Only this season, It feels like. I think he's been available. It's just He's just been frustratingly inconsistent as far as Man United fans are concerned. And it's just really sad for him that when it started turning under this new manager, like it has with so many players at United, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, people thought he didn't have a future. Now everyone is saying he is the number one choice now at right back. Players like that, he's improved. He keeps improving. And you could see if he had a fit and firing Martial, he would have been improved as well during the season. It's just unfortunate for him that it all started to go wrong in pre-season injury-wise, and he's just not managed to get fit. If he can stay fit now, he could still yet have such a huge impact on this season.
Yeah, he literally can be like the saving grace of this season when we never really thought it possible. He's still not playing 90 minutes at this point. It is still 70, 72, then come off, building up to that 90-minute mark. But actually, we could look back on this season. Imagine Martial in an FA Cup final, scoring big goals or having a big say. Imagine Martial, if we get through this, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the Europa League final, later on down the line. Big games, firing us over the line in top 4. So he can still have a big say, having been out for all of the season. And now the spotlight's on him. And I do think,
Eric Ten Hag, I was talking about the relationship that he's had with previous managers. Whenever Eric Ten Hag talks about Anthony Martial, not only does he big him up, but he also says Manchester United play better if Anthony Martial.
And he points to the stats.
Exactly.
I'm not just blindly defending him. It's there.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't played that much, but when he does play, it's like something like 7 goals in 10 starts or something, I think he's had, or something stupid like that.
Contributions in
exactly.
Yeah.
So, a little bit unfair. Who knows, he could still be a major player for United in the future, even if they do bring in this blue chip number 9 that they're after in the summer.
And just quickly before we wrap up, just onto your gut feeling about how the rest of the season is going to pan out for Manchester United, because like Eric Ten Hag said when we got back off the international break, he said the season starts here. Obviously we succumbed to Newcastle in a poor way, etc. But he means this is the business end. This is where things are won and lost. We are in a situation here where, as we stand now, we could be, I know this is really pessimistic, glass half empty, could be out 2 competitions. Do you know what I mean? Within the space of a few days. Or in both fighting for more, or in one and not the other, etc., etc. How do you think the season will pan out for Manchester United, and what is the pinnacle? What is what is the successful season for Manchester United from here on out?
If you spoke to Manchester United fans, I'm going to just ask you the question. When the season started, and maybe into the season as well, United have lost at home to Brighton and got thrashed at Brentford. What would a successful season had been then, considering the squad and the mess, you could argue, that Eric Ten Hag inherited? Could Manchester United fans have foreseen that they'd be in pole position to qualify for the Champions League, they'd have a trophy in the bag already, and approaching the middle of April, late April, they're still in 2 other competitions that they've entered. They've played in every single game that it's possible for them to play in so far this season. That could come back to haunt them because the number of fixtures they're playing, no other team in Europe is doing that at the minute. But on the flip side, when the Europa League group finished, and I think United fans were like, this is the last thing United need, in that they finished second in the group. Now they've got this, it wasn't even called a last 32, but it was effectively that, because you've got to play Barcelona in a playoff, and it had to be Barcelona. But I think that's the best thing that could have happened to them for momentum, because that game at Old Trafford and the game at the Nou Camp, it just seemed to give United that momentum. They win the League Cup as well, and then they get through to the latter stages of the Europa League. Of course, this is going to be a difficult one tonight. If they can get through this, and then somehow with the squad that they've got, get through Brighton as well, it could be an absolutely incredible season for Manchester United. You could be looking at a top 4 finish and a treble of cups. They're still possible.
Treble light.
Yeah.
And which would be stopping Man City doing the actual one as well, ironically.
I mean, Eric Ten Hag was asked that question, wasn't he? I mean, you'll probably be best to answer this question watching United week in, week out, but what's the general consensus about match-going fans? Do they want Arsenal or City to win the league?
I think, for me, it's Arsenal. I cannot, as a Manchester United fan, want to see City win the 3rd Premier League in a row and obviously potentially win the treble. Now, actually, like Gary Neville said on his podcast, to stop someone doing something in history that only we've done in this country, it's in our hands. Beat Brighton, City, you'd imagine, would beat Sheffield United, and beat City. You stop them. So it's in our hands to do that, but we've got to face Brighton. But if I have to choose between who's going to win the Premier League, yeah, I know some Arsenal fans personally, and I want to laugh at them because, according to them, they're amazing. They're going to win the league, and it'd be nice to see the downfall for social media purposes. But from a Manchester United fan perspective, I want Arsenal to win that league because, like I said, City dominating. It's better for the league. Actually, if you look at Arsenal, they went from 5th to potentially 1st. That's actually, good motivation for everyone else, including ourselves, to say, actually, everyone thought that Pep and that Liverpool team were impenetrable. Yeah. No one can get near them. Yeah. And if Arsenal all of a sudden went from 5th to 1st, then it's for the rest of the league to say, actually, get your crap together, get your players in, get a proper manager, get a style and a system and belief, and you can.
And just going back to what you're saying about United, what would constitute a successful season now? I think at the start of the season, if someone had offered a United fan in Eric Ten Hag's first season, you'll win a trophy and you'll guarantee Champions League football for next season.
Bit in the hand off.
Exactly.
I was saying, even if we finish 5th and get a style of play that's identifiable and you can see what we want to do for the next season, I'll take it. Now, obviously, as fans, when we're down in the dungeons and Ralph Rangnick's saying we need to go from heart surgery, you need 20 odd new players, etc. And it felt like that last season. You buy into that and think a new manager can't get anything out of this lot. So we have to get all new players. But actually, testament to Eric Ten Hag. So you're right. I think that. But just lastly, a lot of people have been talking about this on Arsenal, actually. If they finish 2nd with no trophies and Man United finish 3rd with even just the Carabao Cup.
I've seen your...
we've been kind of going back and forth. What do you think to that? Can Manchester United end up having a better season than Arsenal?
I mean, if you just look at it statistically, then you could argue that United would have had a better season. But if you look at it from the start of the season, if you'd offered Arsenal fans a 2nd place finish, they would have thought that that was beyond the realms. And if you'd offered United that trophy and a 3rd or 4th place finish, I don't think they would have believed that that would have happened either, because you're looking at the likes of City, Chelsea, they thought would be really firing. Liverpool as well have gone from a quadruple to what they're doing now. I don't want to comment on what would be the better season, but you could argue either way. Arsenal have had an unbelievable season. No one expected it. From what they were to where they are now, I think Mikel Arteta did a news conference this morning. Judge it after the last game. And we can speculate, have they blown it? They've blown 2-0 leads in consecutive weeks against Liverpool and West Ham. It's City's league now. Everyone is just assuming that Arsenal are going to go to City and lose. City are favourites for that game, we know that. But the fact of the matter is, I think Arsenal fans will get some sort of encouragement as well about what they did at Anfield before Liverpool came back. Because for the first 35, 40 minutes, they were incredible. If they can take that confidence from that game and take it to City, they avoid defeat. It's in their hands.
It's weird because I want to laugh at them for maybe bottling it, but then, like I said, I need them to win the league. So it is what it is. Listen, Dharmesh, it's been great. We're gonna keep enjoying the sun out here. Thank you guys for watching. Smash a like on the video. You know where you can find him. I don't need to tell you where, and on the socials as well. On Instagram. You're on Instagram. Yeah, you're on Instagram. You're a proper influencer now.
Recent recruit.
Proper YouTuber. What do you mean, social media?
It's very difficult. I'm having to get my mate, who's a lot younger than me, to say, look, what's the story and what's the post? Do I have to do both?
Sometimes when you put up stories, I think you put one up, and I was like, I expected to see like the next stage of what was going to happen.
I just put one story, like one picture, and I thought, well, that's it. That's my day. But I told him, I need to post it as well, and I put on a story, so now I'm just doing all of it. I just post it as a story, put it as a post as well, and then just see what happens.
Get onto his Instagram and encourage him to do more, because we want to see more in the life of Dharmesh. We are fascinated by it. We are fascinated. Guys, take care. We'll see you again very, very soon. Peace.